Boom! What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Cali D hitting you up with another installment of Guy Rules. And if this is the first time watching my channel or video, welcome, bienvenido. This channel is self-development, self-improvement, with the perks of lovely, lovely, lovely women, an abundance of everything, and just a better life in general. So yeah, but with that being said, let's get right into it. This is Guy Rule number 14, learning and acquiring new skills. Now, how does this help you? What's the benefit of learning and acquiring new skills? Come on now. If you honestly think that there's nothing new to learn about, then you seriously got issues. Like, for real. Just as a regular normal person to another normal person, what the hell's wrong with you? You have to acquire new knowledge. You just cannot be, dormant and asleep to what's going around, around you. You know what I'm saying? How are you going to have a higher state of consciousness if you're not learning? Being at a higher state of consciousness is not only freeing, you feel so much better. You feel so much more, you awaken from this, from what society, the media, the world has to offer you, from you being just boring, normal, mediocre, and have basically nothing going on in your life. By you just learning and reading books, you geeking out on books, only makes you richer, a more richer individual, a more well-rounded individual, and a more interesting person for the opposite sex. Exactly, you heard right. Yes, for the opposite sex. How does that work? It's just, you have more topics of conversation to talk about. You have, a stronger mindset. You have a leadership vibe to you. You'd be like, well, this is what I think, blah blah, this is what I think about that, blah blah. You have a more masculine polarity. You have a more alpha. I don't really like alpha, and I'm gonna break down that word in another video, but you have a more alpha state of mind, and people will listen to somebody who knows what they're talking about, and they're assertive and are sure of what they know they're talking about. It just makes your life in every single aspect, whether in business, spiritual, personal, social, it just makes it better. It really does. So get learning, man. Get to learning whatever it is that you can learn about. Even if it's not what you want to learn, learn about it. One day or another, somehow, what you read 3 months ago or a week ago is going to actually come into play when you least expect it. So keep learning. Developing new skills, man. You always have to develop some kind of skills. You just cannot have one skill in general and that's it. Let's say, for example, and this video actually can help you out with older chicks. That's why I'm making this video, because it actually dawned on me. I was like, hey, well, hooking up with older chicks is really quite easy. All you really have to do is have some kind of, have a little bit more topics of conversation to talk about than your average Joe. But yeah, so that's why I'm making this video. This video is actually helping you to, if you're into older chicks, like basically every young guy is, this will definitely help you how to get a better outcome with mature older ladies. I like to call them older women because it just sounds better. Anyways, but let's say a bodybuilder, all he does is just, bodybuild, and he's very attractive. He's hot, he's good looking, he has everything going for him on a look wise. But if he's trying to get to that older female, or like just say, a female around his age, and all he talks about is just like, well, I like to bodybuild, and I work out a certain amount of time, I work out a certain amount of day, and I do this, I do that, and it's just protein, fats, carbs, protein, fats, carbs. She's just like, really? You're boring. You might be very attractive, but you're boring as fuck. So, develop new skills, man. If you have trouble dancing, go out dancing. If you have trouble, I don't know, baking, acquire new skills. It's only beneficial for you in every single aspect, believe me. How does that work with older women? Now, when it comes to hooking up as a young person, basically this is a young person. There's nothing really going on there but just like a whole lot of, sexual tension and stuff like that. All of a sudden you make out, and then boom, you guys start like fucking. With older chicks, it's her, you, and what she's basically trying to do. Some of them, not all of them, let's say out of four, one of them will actually skip the whole conversation shit and just like, start having sex with you, like right off the bat, right off the fucking bat. But the other three, they like to, like play hopscotch and like bridge that shit. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because the conversation that you talk about leads her to build more attraction for you. She feels more at ease. She feels more like, wow, this guy is not only young and not only good looking, or he's young and not that great looking, but he's so into what he's talking about. His confidence just like radiance, and he brings out this masculine vibe that the more he talks about, I might be this far away. Oh, I'm trying to fucking figure shit out. This far away, I'm getting closer and closer and closer, and he's not even doing anything. He's just making me, I'm just like chasing, the cookie crumbs that he's leaving behind, and I'm getting more attracted to him. Why? Because of the mindset, his brain. I like his brain. He's so fucking smart. He's so fucking sexy, despite what you look like, and that's how you draw in the cougars and milfs, the older women, because of your conversation and what you portray with that conversation. You know exactly what you're talking about. Boom, you just dive into that conversation, not caring a world about what she thinks about your conversation, and she's just like, wow, this guy is completely different from being the average Joe, which is down here dormant, sleep, not doing anything, being a follower instead of a leader. You're up here, and she's like, wow, this guy has more value. And women, all types of women, value. That's what they're really drawn into, value and leadership, strong alpha characteristics. So get your ass into learning, get yourself into some books, dive into some fucking books, knee deep, and acquire new skills. Sometimes by you just, like I said, if you have trouble dancing or, plumbing or whatever, they can help you out in the long run. Let's say, for example, you hook up with an older chick. You guys, go back to her pad. She might have not, not have plans of having sex with you, but all of a sudden, boom, her sink breaks down. And, just by you reading books about plumbing and, whatever it is that you were reading about, you're just like, hmm, mm, you analyze the situation, you dig into, you start, going downtown on the fucking sink. You try to fix it, all of a sudden, without you knowing, you fix it, and she's like, oh my god, you're my hero. Not only are you smart, you have skills, and all of a sudden, from fixing her sink and being at her house, absolutely doing nothing, she's out giving you some fellation, or, for example, her car breaks down, and you went a week with your dad, or you read a book about mechanics, and you're just like, well, I don't know that much mechanics, but or anything about cars, but let me see if I can look under the hood. She's gonna be like, oh well, whatever, go ahead, I guess. All of a sudden you see, like, all she needed was like a little bit of antifreeze or water in her engine. Put that bitch in, fucking, she's like, oh my god. From you being in her car, you're back at her house, and you guys are having the best sex ever. So skills and knowledge makes it go a long way, and it makes you ski. But anyways, like I said, dive yourself into some fucking books and acquire new skills. Not just to fucking get laid, not just to, attract the opposite sex, but just to be more confident. This is about you, remember. This is about you having a better outlook on life, you having a more masculine polarity, owning your environment, your inner environment of what, of what a male should be, and not being dormant and sleep and lifeless like everybody else, which is not a bad thing, but the way you see it once acquire knowledge, it's just sad, man. And all of a sudden you become this, this inspiration to somebody else, or you become, a gazillionaire because of you just reading, working your ass off, and being awake. So yeah, and you get late with the older chicks because you're young, you have money, you have an abundance of everything, and they're just like, wow, this guy's completely different. So yeah, so you guys stay up. Your boy Cali D.